Coming up, drug wastage and complete restructure suggested by that PHA report.
I'm Clint Watson. We have the answer on what Prime Minister Christie has determined to do in the Remwood Wells issue.
The opposition leader says he is not intimidated by his deputy's bid for the leadership post. I'll tell you more straight ahead.
And sports for all over the weekend. The highlights coming up. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Is Parliamentary Secretary Remwood Wells in or out? That's the question many want answered, as the controversy over the letter of intent has been lingering now for weeks.
The past weekend, while in Exuma, the Prime Minister told ZNS News exclusively that he would put an end to months of speculation and reports to the nation on his decision and the details surrounding that reported $600 million letter of intent that was reportedly signed by Wells with Stellar Waste Company. Well, Clint Watson is live in studio tonight with a much anticipated statement. Clint, what can you tell us?
Opal, we can tell you the Prime Minister did deliver on that promise in releasing a statement on this issue. What we can tell you, though, is not much detail surrounding what happened, who signed what, whether there was confirmation of any signing at all. Not much details. Late this evening, the Prime Minister released a statement from his office, and it reads, "The Cabinet Office advises that the Governor General, acting in accordance with the advice of the Prime Minister, has directed that the office of Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Works and Urban Development become vacant." Obviously, that means that Mr. Remwood Wells is no longer employed with the Ministry of Works and Urban Development as Parliamentary Secretary. We don't have any other information yet surrounding this issue or deal. No doubt many questions will be asked in the coming days of the Prime Minister on what actually transpired, what happened. Of course, we will try and make contact with Mr. Remwood Wells in response to what has transpired. We'll expect a statement from him as well as those surrounding this issue and, of course, the minister involved. Of course, this is a story that will be developing and unfolding in the days to come, and we'll keep you abreast on all of the developments here at ZNS. Back to you guys.
All right, Clint, thanks a lot. Moving on to other news, drug wastage within the healthcare system was just one aspect of claims coming out of that forensic report conducted by John Bain and Associates on the Public Hospital Authority. While there is no direct evidence of complicity and fraudulent occurrences, the report did recommend that the Board of Directors restructure the executive management team at the PHA. Janae Noel Ferguson takes a closer look at the details of that report tonight.
Forensic audit of the Public Hospitals Authority from 2006 to 2013 suggests fraud and corruption. They also recommend that the management be held responsible for allowing certain controls to be circumvented. The report also suggested that management not holding persons responsible for their actions bred a culture of slackness and corruption. The 92-page report documented that employees were accepting gifts from vendors contrary to the ethical code, including accepting donations to fund a Christmas event. It was also recorded that invoices were frequently stamped as received to generate payments when employees knew that no goods were received. And then there was a direct link to a medical supply company, which according to the report possibly received an unauthorized $200,000 that a senior employee allegedly walked through the process to advance payment. That same medical supply company was found to be overbilling and delivering short on supplies, and a purchase order was reused 100 times over. That company, however, was giving a high ranking, which means that services with that company continued. Now, the report also found that a company which was not on the Bahamas National Drug Association list received approval from the Pharmacy Council just 3 days before an emergency drug was needed. That report stated that drugs were not delivered and no documentation for back order was prepared. However, PHA issued a check for some $86,000 to a vendor and was not approved. This resulted in PHA being defrauded some $11,500. Additionally, the report stated that an excess of $10 million in inventory did not physically exist, but was on the books. Now, a number of top PHA officials are named in the report, and the report suggests that the board of PHA restructure the executive management team. Health Minister Dr. Perry Gomez says that report is still being reviewed.
It's also being investigated through the board. The board met on the report last Tuesday, and so as you can see, it's just being reviewed.
Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
Well, those temporary courts in Bank Lane, which are expected to significantly enhance the justice system, are a step closer to opening. Fern Carey talked to the Attorney General today about the upgrade.
Attorney General Allison Maynard Gibson says staff are now moving into the temporary courts in Bank Lane, and judges are expected to begin hearing cases in short order. This comes on the heels of a number of delays in the completion of 5 temporary courts.
The budget allocation has been made, and the appointment process itself is now a matter for the Judicial and Legal Services Commission and the Commission and the Chief Justice, who chairs that commission. As I understand it, the process of moving into the temporary courts in Bank Lane and into Ansbacher House is ongoing as we speak.
The temporary courts are expected to make the justice system more efficient by the backlog of cases reported to be in the thousands. In this vein, the Attorney General says efforts are now underway to ensure that all cases are heard in a timely manner.
We have reduced the number of days from charge to trial from 430 down to 210, I think it is, so over 200 days reduction. We have been able to reduce the time for presentation of a VBI from 300 and some days down to 104 days. We are showing that our guilty convictions continue to increase, consistently more than 50%.
It is anticipated that the temporary courts will be operational by the end of the year. Fern Carey, ZNS Network News.
Justice John Isaacs joined the ranks of the appellate court today after being sworn in as Justice of Appeal during a ceremony at Government House. Justice Isaacs' service on the bench includes stints as Chief Magistrate as well as Senior Supreme Court Judge. In accepting his new appointment, Justice Isaacs promised to carry out his duties to the highest standard. It isn't clear at this time who will replace him as Senior Supreme Court Judge.
After more than 1 year, government and Baha Mar are still engaged in discussions about how much the government will pay the developer for its role in the reconfiguration of West Bay Street. In its deal with Baha Mar, government is supposed to pay Baha Mar $47.8 million if the cost of the road work exceeded $70 million. If it costs less, the government is under obligation to pay 50% of the cost. Baha Mar has said that the road works exceeded $100 million. That figure has been in dispute with the government experts, estimating that the road works cost around $58 million. Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Works Philip Davis says he hopes to put this matter to rest soon.
I think we've paid about $28 million or thereabouts on account of what we think we owed, and we are trying to work out the balance if there's any. I was optimistic that we would have been able to complete it before now, but that my optimism has dissipated, and hopefully we'll hopefully have it done as soon as we can.
Well, just a day after the opposition's deputy leader announced her bid for the leadership post, the opposition leader is speaking out about the race and his reasons for calling a one-day convention.
Well, LaDawn Davis sat down with the opposition leader at his home today and gets ready to defend his leadership.
Opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis says he is confident that his style of leadership will bring the Free National Movement to victory in the upcoming general elections. And with the leadership of that party now up for grabs, he says he welcomes the challenge.
The FNM was built on the foundation of democracy. And when it says a convention, every position is available, open, free, which means that every post can be challenged. And that's democracy. That's a thriving democracy. And we cherish that.
On Monday, his deputy, Loretta Butler Turner, said that she is the most capable person to lead the party and to hold the government accountable for their actions inside and out of Parliament. However, Minnis says that determination will be made by Free National Movement supporters.
My focus is more on the young people. My focus is more on gathering a cadre of young people, preparing them for future role in leadership. So there's an understanding in this society.
Now the big question on everyone's mind is, will this leadership battle cause a division in the party?
The FNM is a matured party. The FNM is an organization, and each and every one of us will be focused on one thing, and that is to stop this runaway train government, to stop this government that is out of control, to bring some form of uniformity within our country. And I think every Bahamian is looking forward to a better Bahamas.
Next month, the Free National Movement will hold a one-day convention in Nassau, and many have questioned why the convention was called on such short notice.
Everywhere I went, throughout the Family Islands, New Providence, different communities, you listen on Facebooks, everybody talking about they want a convention, 2 years up, etc., etc. And reach a point you say, all right, that's what you want, then let's have a convention.
The opposition leader says he's going into this race with one goal in mind, and that is to hold on to his leadership post. LaDawn Davis, ZNS Network News.
And coming up, the Bahamas looks to become self-sufficient when it comes to food production.
And in sports, the Bahamas Olympic Association looks to make sports available to everyone. Find out more coming up in ZNS Total Sports. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Shell Ultra Low Sulfur Diesel.